Yeah, it came on just now. Say something. This TV no dey on. No, this TV no dey on. Welcome to Global News on Signature Television. I'm Charles Pius. In the headlines, the Action People's Party win the chairmanship position in 22 out of 23 local government areas in Rivers State. Lagos University Teaching Hospital sensitizes women on breast cancer. Congo launches its first Mpox vaccination campaign, and Francis Macron says sales of arms used in Gaza should be halted. Details in a moment. Beg,
It's still in the here.
no, the remote from the TV.
It's still in the here from.
Oh, they here. Oh, they here now. The River State's Independent Electoral Commission, RISEC, has announced the results for the local government elections held on Saturday. The RISEC chairman, retired Justice Adolfo Zenebeli, who announced the results, said the Action People's Party won the chairmanship position in 22 out of 23 local government areas where collation has been concluded. He said collation of the remaining LGA of a chair is still ongoing amid the difficult terrain of the area.
Elections into the 23 local government areas of River State, emerging from the 5th October 2024 local government elections in River State. Therefore, I, Honorable Justice Adolfo Zenebeli, retired in my capacity as the Chairman, Chief Electoral Commissioner of the River State Independent Electoral Commission, and
Yes.
pursuant to the extant provisions of the River State Independent Electoral Law Number 2 of 2018 and all other laws enabling me in that behalf, do hereby make declaration of results for the chairmanship elections into the 23 local government councils of River State. After painstaking collation of results at the close of poll by our team of officials regarding the local government council elections conducted this day, the 5th of October 2024, the following candidates, having scored majority of lawful or valid votes cast in 2/3 of the respective wards comprising their respective local government areas of River State, are hereby returned as elected chairmen or chairwomen. They are 1. Abua Odua, Ruben Vincent Obu, ADP. Ahuda East, Esu Rizi Chibudom Hezekiah, ABP. Ahuda West, Iporo Iyeko, APP, Agutoro, Tony Briggs Onide, APP, Andoni, Lazarus Vote Interwile, APP, Asaritoro, Engineer Dr. Sule Amakere, APP, Bonnie, Anengi Barasua, Wakeops, APP, Degema, Dr. Agri M. Harry, APP, Eleme, Graham, A.E. Gokba, APP, Emowa, Omoreji Chinedu David, APP. In respect of a Che, the Commission, in its wisdom, stood down its result because of the expansive land there, comprised of 19 West. Collation good. Want to be sure of correct collation before we announce.
Festuri. It's because of you. Okay. Thank you, sir.
APP. Omuman Promise Reginald, APP. Opobo Koro, Enyada Clifford Kopigam, APP. Oyibo, Okere Gift, APP. Port Harcourt, Iche Mati, Ezebunwo Prince Charles, APP. And Tai, DK Martin Felix, APP. The details or the statistics of the respective scores shall be published in RISEC website and the media, and they will be made available to the public and all contestants. The election results 319 West spread across the 22 local government areas of Rivers State shall be declared subsequently and soonest, together with that of a J that has been stood down. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you all for listening. Now,
the election was observed by members of the IPAC, chairman of state independent electoral bodies across the country, and members of the Nigerian Bar Association who acted as observers in the polls. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has reiterated his commitments to repositioning the country and creating wealth for generations. He gave the assurance at the All Progressives Congress APC Southwest Zone Assembly in Lagos on Saturday. The president, who was represented by his chief of staff, Mr. Femi Babajimila, said that his focus was not in 2027 elections, but on how to make Nigeria great for generations. The event was hosted by Chairman Southwest Governors Forum and Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Tinubu said that he was pained by the hardship in the country, but gave the assurance that Nigeria would get better. He said that he took some tough decisions for the good of the country, adding that he had love for Nigerians and would continue to listen to them and do what would be good for them. In his address, Sanwo-Olu appealed to the leaders and other members that give adequate support to the Tinubu-led administration. The keynote speaker and immediate past governor of Ekiti State, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, said that Southwest APC should be ready to forge a united front. Others who attended the event were governors of Ekiti, Ondo, and Ogun states. Leaders at the meeting include ex-interim national chairman of APC, Chief B.C. Akonde, ex-Ogun governors, Chief Olusegun Oshoba, and Senator Ipikunle Amosun. The event also attracted APC senators, representatives, House of Assembly members, and other top government officials from Southwest. Reports indicate that several firms have shut down and many others on the verge of collapse as a result of the high cost of electricity tariff. Individuals and other categories of consumers, especially those categorized as Band A customers, are also lamenting over the effects of the tariff hike on their daily lives. Correspondent Chinemere Mikemunam has been feeling the pulse of the consumers as a result of the tariff hike. So APP has won practically all local governments of River State, and this is one fight that Fubara needed to fight in order to consolidate on his governorship mandate. He needed to teach certain persons lessons to stamp his feet that he is now a governor of that state. He decides, just like every other governors, decide who becomes their local government chairman, the nominations. I mean, we've seen these local government elections happen in different parts. Where I am in Enugu State is the same thing. It's nominations, and whoever is nominated goes ahead to win. Imo State didn't even have, up until this moment, figures to the names of people who won that election. And things go well. Things just think people let it slide. The opposition would scream to the top of their voices and nothing happens. So for Rivers State, I understand that Fubara was fighting not just for his own life, he's also fighting to consolidate the fact that he is the governor of Rivers State, and he needed to have that fight. And now it's beginning to be clear that he's stamping his foot on the floor in Rivers State. And I salute his courage. Not so many persons would, be this courageous in this fight. Not so many persons would want to go all out, especially given how Wike has dealt with that state with his charisma and then his connectivity, as the case may be. But right now, I'm so excited about what's going on. I don't know about you. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I would really love to hear from you about the developments. The Eche local government that is still being held, it's a walkover. I mean, it's that there's never going to be a change. There's never going to be one local government, that is extended to any party at all. It's got to be APP so that it could be a holistic consolidation. So in case there has been this conversation whether they should allow one local government to go to another party, let him not make that mistake, because it's going to be devastating. So it's a kudos to him. I have seen a lot of people who have said a lot of things about this whole thing, and trust me, it has been one hell of a back and forth with what has been going on. So many people think that Wike still has a certain power grip around River State, but as soon as he is relieved of his duty sometime next year or in another few months, I'm giving you this expo, he might be relieved of his duty sometime next year. And that's because that's about the same time there'll be lobbying for the 2027 elections. So Wike's only bargaining chip is the fact that he still has Rivers in his hands. But with what has happened, it then means, even with the police, it then means Tinubu has to align with Fubara, not with Wike. So Wike becomes irrelevant. And so he'll be asked to leave, because again, quite frankly, what would really be his bargaining chip when he comes to the table for 2027? What will be his bargaining chip? It's just River State. If he says he has a structure of River State to deliver the political party, whatever political party, because as it stands, Wike is nowhere. He's neither in APC or in PDP. He is just nowhere. But many people think that it's strategic. I feel that is stupidity as far as I'm concerned. Dr. Wasiu Adeyemo, Chief Medical Director, Lagos University Teaching Hospital, Luth, has advised women to be educated about their breast and make their health a priority, especially by checking their cancer status. Represented by Dr. Ayode G. Oluwole, the Chairman Medical Advisory Committee, Luth, Adeyemo spoke at the commemoration of the 2024 Breast Awareness Month, BAM, on Saturday in Lagos. Breast Awareness Month is marked annually in October to raise awareness on breast cancer and designated as the Pink Month. The Pink Month is used to educate those concerned about the disease, including early identification, signs, and symptoms associated with breast cancer. The 2024 BAM has the theme, No One Should Face Breast Cancer Alone. It said that more women were aware of breast cancer, the more they would go for screening and treatment, and the higher the chances of survival from the disease. The Chief Clinical Coordinator, NSIA Luce Cancer Center, Dr. Habibu Mohammed, urged women to cultivate the habit of carrying out self-examination of their breast at least once every month. According to him, with any of the breast tests, breast cancer can be detected early and treated with little or no cost. He explained that regular screening and early detection were key to survival of cancer, advising that people must refrain from living in self-denial. The oncologist said that some people with cancer lived in self-denial only to present the case and seek medical intervention late when the situation had become complicated. According to him, excessive intake of alcohol, cigarette, and self-medication should be avoided by women. Mohammed explained that the NSIA Luce Cancer Center, no fewer than 11,000 patients, had been treated for breast cancer over the last 5 years. A consultant general surgeon, Dr. Lawal Abdurazak, identified funds and ignorance, coordination of stakeholders, and support for the cancer patients as major challenges to cancer treatment in Nigeria. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 elections, Mr. Peter Obi, has directed or described healthcare as a critical foundation for the growth and development of any society. Obi stated this during a visit to the Dame Irene Okwosa Memorial Hospital, Orifite, in the Ekusigo local government area of Anambra State on Saturday. He commended the humanitarian disposition and team spirit of the health personnel towards saving lives, especially the offering of free heart surgeries for hundreds of patients in the hospital. Earlier, Executive Director of Sir Emeka Okwosa Foundation, Dr. Chidinma Okoye, said that the hospital, since 2 years of its inception, had carried out 117 open heart surgeries for adults and children. According to her, the 117 surgeries stood at an estimated cost of over 7 billion naira. She said 47 of the free surgeries were children, while 70 subsidized heart surgeries were for adults. Meanwhile, Executive Director of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Muyi Aina, says the agency has designated a sum of 254 million naira to boost primary healthcare delivery in Enugu State, commending the state governor, Dr. Peter Mbah, for his administration's prompt implementation of federal government policies in the health sector. Aina gave the commendation when he led the NPHCDA's partners, the World Health Organizations, and the UNICEF and delegations from his agency on a courtesy visit to the governor at the government house in Enugu. Dr. Aino told the governor that he came to seek a continuous co-partnership with the Enugu state government on the development of primary health care in the state. He added that the state will fully benefit from the ongoing revitalization of the primary health care centers across the country by the federal government. Welcoming federal government's intervention, Governor Mbah assured partnership with the federal government and aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals programs. Mba said he will institutionalize primary health care, adding that his administration has put modalities in place to ensure universal health coverage in the state. Governor Alex Otti of Abia State has affirmed his commitments to create a conducive ecosystem necessary to improve the standard of education in the state. Otti said this during the commemoration of this year's World Teachers' Day celebration on Saturday in Umuahia. The theme for the celebration is valuing teachers' voices towards a new social contract for education. The governor expressed a determination of his administration to improve the student-teacher ratio in public schools by engaging more teachers in schools across the state. He also directed the Ministry of Homeland Security to provide adequate security in public schools for the safety of teachers, students, and existing facilities. OT also said that he had directed this discontinuation of all forms of discrimination practices in the payment of teachers' salaries, noting that government had retrained about 2,000 primary school teachers, while the retraining of secondary school teachers would commence in November. In an address, the national president of the Nigerian Union of Teachers, NUT, Mr. Audu Amba, said that the new challenges and trends in education had placed greater burden on teachers with expanded roles. Amba, represented by the National Secretary of the Union, Mr. Taiwo Akuben, said that the current situation had raised the need for teachers to rebuild or build their capacity and remain relevant in the teaching profession. He commended teachers for their courage, sacrifice, resilience, and commitments to their chosen profession and urged them to keep the flag flying. The governor of Imo State, Senator Hope Uzodinma, has congratulated teachers for their untiring efforts in nurturing the leaders of tomorrow for the society. They specifically singled out teachers in Imo State and appreciated them for their services to the state. Uzodinma's message was to celebrate Teachers' Day, which was marked globally on Saturday. Taken to his Glow or social media handle, the governor said it was with immense joy that he congratulated the remarkable teachers of Imo State as they joined their counterparts worldwide in marking this year's Teachers' Day. He assured them that his administration was ready, working out the modalities for implementing the new national minimum wage. Governor Sharif Abubakar of Delta State has given the green light for the payment of 2023 scholarship to children of deceased civil servants and students living with disabilities, PWDs, in the state. The approval was made public through a statement signed by Dr. Godfrey Enita, Executive Secretary of the Delta State Bursary and Scholarship Board in Asaba on Saturday. He said the scholarship program would benefit 628 children of deceased civil servants from over 200 families and 60 students living with disabilities. According to Anita, this initiative aims to support bereaved children of state civil servants who died in active service, as well as disabled students. Meanwhile, Nigerian women at a conference in Abuja joined their voices to the increasing demand for gender mainstreaming in the industry, economy, and politics in the country. This was at the Voice of Women Conference and Awards, VOW, an annual event that brings together diverse women groups. Organized by the Voice of Women Empowerment Foundation in partnership with Women Radio Network, WRN, and supported by MacArthur Foundation, the conference serves as a platform for discussing critical national development issues and offering solutions. Signature TV correspondent Usman Nasiru was at the conference. Oh.
Temptation, suffering, neglect, rejection today. I am here standing, and my community is, I think they are very proud of me.
Dr. Abiola Afolabi, chairperson of the World 2024 Planning Committee, in a welcome address, called for the creation of inclusive and transformative pathways for women's leadership. She positioned the conference as a critical platform for stakeholders to engage in discussion that support grassroots women, who she described as the backbone of the nation.
What we're doing there is it's bridging the gaps. This has always been a major challenge. And I want to thank Voice of Women today by bringing women from those two divides, together to have this kind of conversation. There can never be any better time than this.
As women, we need to stand in solidarity with one another, bring out our weapons to cover ourselves from undue scrutiny, to offer assistance, to offer support. I would not be where I am today if I had not benefited from the rappers of other women. And the principle of the rapper for me is whenever someone gives you a rapper, you extend that rapper to the next person.
We've launched a revolving loan for market women at the grassroots, and it's non-interest, right? So these women come, they get empowered, and they pay back after a while, and we can give to other women. We started with 120 market women in Yanya here in Abuja. So we believe that women at the grassroots are very important. And we've always said that these women are involved in elections, but after elections, they are dumped and manipulated. How do we solve this problem? It's something we should think about.
Education is very vital. Without education, the nation will not grow. And healthcare services, without being healthy, we don't get. You can't find an edifice without drugs. No workers there, nothing. And so those are the issues. The roads, waterable roads, for our women to be able to carry their products to the market. Potable drinking water for our women to keep healthy. These are them. So we are pleading, we are appealing with them to please be able to give us these facilities.
The conference emphasized women's empowerment, unity, and the need for inclusive leadership. Various speakers, in turn, urged women to support one another, connect with grassroots communities, and overcome challenges to advance in leadership.
Still to come, Nigerian Union of Journalists cracked down on quacks and fake journalists in Kebbi State. Borno government releases 20 billion naira for flood victims and infrastructure. These and more after the break. Welcome back. You're watching Global News on Signature Television. Garba Mohammed Yildiz, chairman of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, Kebbi Council, has vowed to deal with quacks and fake journalists tarnishing the image of the profession. Mohammed Yildiz gave the warning in Berin Kebbi on Saturday at the NUJ security engagement session. The engagement was between the NUJ State Council members of the correspondent chapel and security personnel. Mohammed Yeldu lamented that the unregistered and unaccredited journalists had been going around government offices intimidating and blackmailing officials to receive inducement. Mohammed Yeldu enumerated plans to reposition the NUJ in the state to encourage the practice of professional journalism among the newsmen. The NUJ National Vice President Northwest Zone, Alhaji Jokoro Dusin Mari, affirmed support to the State Council to deal with the issue of quackery. He used the opportunity to appeal to employers of labor to always remit check-off dues deducted from the salaries of journalists to the coffers of the NUJ as mandated by law. The representatives of the Nigerian Police Force and the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps (NSCDC) assured readiness to work in synergy with the NUJ to fish out quacks and unaccredited persons posing as journalists. The police command in Imo, in collaboration with the Nigerian Army, has rescued 4 kidnapped victims and neutralized 1 suspect at Ezioha in Bitolo local government area. The command spokesman, ASP Henry Okoye, disclosed this in a statement issued in Owerri and made available to newsmen. Okoye also disclosed that operatives from the command's anti-kidnapping unit, Tiger Base, carried out the intelligence-led operation in collaboration with military personnel. According to him, the team successfully dismantled terrorist and kidnapping syndicates suspected to be members of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra and its armed group, the Eastern Security Network, during the operation. The operation led to the neutralization of 1 suspected terrorist and the rescue of 4 individuals abducted along Orlu Road on September 29th. He added that the items recovered from the camp included a pump-action gun, 10 live cartridges, 4 expanded cartridges, 4 locally made explosives, and a Biafran flag. He further explained that the native bulletproof vest, 2 Highlander sports utility vehicles, an ash-colored Toyota Camry, and various criminal charms were also recovered from the camp. Okoye stated that operations were underway to apprehend the fleeing suspects. And elsewhere, the forward operating base FOB of the Nigerian Navy in Badagry, Lagos, has handed over 7 suspected victims of human trafficking to the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP. Navy Captain Augustus Amakri, commanding officer FOB, represented by Sub-Lieutenant H.M. Danwaliz, the base intelligence officer, stated that the victims were intercepted on October 1st and 3rd, according to Amakri on October 1st at around 3:20 p.m. The base Quick Response Team, QRT, deployed at the base jetty in Badagry intercepted a fiber boat carrying passengers en route to Panshi jetty from Mile 2. Governor Babagana Zulum of Borno State has presented checks of 20 billion naira in support of victims of Maiduguri flood and rehabilitation of affected public structures. A check of 10 billion naira was presented to the chairman of Borno Flood Disaster Relief Disbursement Committee, while another check of 10 billion naira was given to the Commissioner of Works for rehabilitation of public structures. Presenting the checks at the ceremony in Government House in Maiduguri on Saturday, Zulum said monies realized from donors would be used 50-50 for the victims and flood and non-food items. Zulum said in view of the fact that the flood had also affected farmlands and businesses, farmers and businesses or business owners who lost their sources of livelihood would also be supported. The governor, who expressed gratitude to all those who donated and those who showed solidarity to the people of Borno at the trying moment, also lauded the effective role of President Tinubu and Vice President Shettima in generating support for the victims. The governor also inaugurated the 28-member technical committee to determine the cause of a Lao Dam collapse that led to the September 10th flood disaster in Maiduguri and environs, which affected more than 1 million people. The committee, which has Engineer Abba Gariba as chairman, is to conduct preliminary assessment to determine the immediate and remote cause of the incident. The committee is also to determine the extent of damage to the dam, its structural integrity, and recommend remedial action to contain the continuous flow of water from the dam. Zulum said the committee would collaborate and facilitate the job of the already established committee by the federal government, considering the urgency of the situation in Borno State. The committee has been mandated to complete its assignments within 4 weeks. Governor Caleb Mufwang of Plateau has donated medical and other relief materials worth 180 million naira to victims of flood disaster in Maiduguri, Borno State. The Director of Press and Public Affairs to the Governor, Gyang Berry, said this in a statement in Jos. Mufwang, who was represented by the Deputy Governor Josephine Pio during the presentation of the item, said the gesture aimed at alleviating the sufferings of the victims. The items include 4 truckloads of water, 100 bags of groundnut cake, 100 bags of cassava granules, gari, and 100 bags of millet and sorghum, and 100 bags of maize and 20 cartons of milk, among others. Vice President Kashim Shettima has directed the implementation of a sweeping overhaul of Nigeria's road safety measures to reduce accidents in the country. He is also set to inaugurate the National Road Safety Advisory Council, saddled with the responsibility of reducing traffic accidents by 50% before 2030. Shettima, during a meeting with the leadership of the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, held at the Presidential Villa, Abuja on Friday, stressed the need for the Corps to address increasing road accidents on the highways. The Vice President directed the implementation of its sweeping overhaul of Nigeria's road safety measures. He also stressed the need for the Corps to address its challenges and drastically reduce road traffic accidents across the nation caused by non-adherence to traffic regulations. He also emphasized the need for deliberate efforts to address road challenges in line with international best practices in countries like Dubai and the UK. The Vice President, who chairs the National Road Safety Advisory Council, highlighted the importance of leveraging technology and enforcing discipline to improve road safety. Mr. Nasser Okwara, chairman of the National Population Commission, has called on the United Nations member states to put an end to the prolonged conflicts that result in civilian casualties and suffering globally. His appeal was made during the 79th Third Committee plenary meeting of the UN General Assembly in New York. Okwara emphasized the need for collective action among member states to ensure peace, unity, and security worldwide. He condemned the humanitarian catastrophe and continuous loss of civilian lives, particularly defenseless women and children caught in wars worldwide. The chairman also advocated for increased collaboration between member states, UN agencies, and partners to tackle multiple global crises and eradicate poverty. He noted that the world faces multi-dimensional challenges that no single nation could solve alone. Speaking on climate change, Okwara stated that the world faces a multitude of crises, including humanitarian, economic, social, food, and climate-related challenges, which pose significant obstacles to social development policies. He emphasized that member states must collaborate to implement effective policies ensuring self-sufficiency and protection from poverty. Regarding Nigeria's progress, Okwara highlighted the federal government's commitment to leaving no one behind and prioritizing the inclusion of vulnerable populations in all development programs and frameworks. Meanwhile, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Abbas Tajuddin, has applauded President Bola Tinubu for correcting the mistakes of the past by conferring the Speaker with the Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger, GCON. President Tinubu had, during his Independence Day anniversary address to Nigerians on Tuesday, October 1st, announced the conferment of the Commander of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, CFR, on the Speaker and GCON, on the President of the Senate and the Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN. On Wednesday, the House, through a motion by Honorable Philip Agbese and 249 others, called on the President to correct the past mistakes by according the House the same status as the Senate in the conferment of national honors. The House had decried the discrimination it has suffered over the years, not just regarding the national honors, but also in some quarters where a segment of the Nigerians refer to it as a lower chamber, even when the Constitution places both chambers of the National Assembly on the same pedestal. Following the resolution of the House, President Tinubu on Friday night, through his special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, announced the withdrawal of the CFR honor and conferment of the GCON on the Speaker. Speaker Abbas, in a press statement issued through his special advisor on media and publicity, Musa Abdullahi Krishi, said President Tinubu has demonstrated good leadership in his action. Speaker Abbas equally congratulated the 10th House of Representatives for his historic achievement. He thanks his colleagues for rising against the age-long discrimination of the House, which he said has been corrected through their efforts. Meanwhile, the Bauchi State government has inaugurated an 11-member tripartite technical committee to fast-track the implementation of a new national minimum wage. A statement by the NLC chairman in the state, Dauda Shuaibu, showed that membership of the committee comprises representatives of the state government, Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, and the Trade Union Congress, TUC. He said the developments was equal to the meeting between the organized labor and the members of the State Executive Council, SEC. Shuaibu said the committee has approved 70,000 naira minimum wage for workers in the state. According to Shuaibu, the objective is to develop modalities for the payment of the national minimum wage to workers. Meanwhile, Dr. Mohammed Ibn Chambers, chairman of the African Union High Level Panel of Sudan, says the Dangote refinery is a testament to Nigeria's ingenuity and African entrepreneurship. Ibn Chambers said this in Lagos on Sunday when he visited the Dangote refinery in Ibejuleki, Lagos. He commended Alhaji Laliko Dangote for his business sense and vision marched with action in driving such a mega project to its conclusion. Ibn Chambers said Dangote had cemented his status as the true leader of the African private sector. Ibn Chambers also commended President Bola Tinubu for ensuring provision of crude oil to Dangote refinery, highlighting he has demonstrated commitments to creating an enabling business environment in Nigeria in general and the smooth operation of the refinery in particular. Still to come, Israel says France's call for halting sales of arms used in Gaza is a disgrace. Lebanon's migrant workers in limbo as thousands flee war. Do stay with us. Let me check for you. What did you worry? Isn't that much of that stuff? You know when? Welcome back. You're watching Global News on Signature Television. Congolese health officials launched their first Mpox vaccination campaign on Saturday, a key step in efforts to contain an outbreak that has spread from its epicenter in the Democratic Republic of Congo to numerous other African nations this year. Officials held a ceremony to mark the start of vaccinations at a hospital in the eastern city of Goma, where health workers were first in line to receive the vaccine doses. The health ministry warned that the campaign scope would be small due to limited resources. At the moment, 265,000 vaccine doses are available, though more are in the pipeline. The start of the vaccinations begins to address the huge inequity that left African countries with no access to the two shots used to fight a 2022 global Mpox outbreak, while they were widely available in Europe and the United States. Congo has reported more than 30,000 suspected and confirmed cases and 990 deaths since the start of 2024, accounting for 90% of the cases reported from Africa so far this year, according to the World Health Organization. And elsewhere, a migrant domestic worker, Fajima Kamara, came to Lebanon 3 years ago but was abandoned by her employers and left to watch in terror as Israeli jets pounded her neighborhood with relentless vigor. The 28-year-old migrant worker from Sierra Leone was working as a helper for a Lebanese family in the country's eastern city of Baalbek, a Hezbollah stronghold. As tensions between Israel and the armed Shiite movements kicked off in late September, the widowed mother of three found herself in firing range of an intense Israeli bombardment campaign. In a country historically fraught by conflict and where a devastating economic crisis has crippled state institutions, grassroots efforts have stepped in across the country to help the displaced. Israel's escalated offensive has displaced around 1.2 million people, almost a quarter of the population, and killed more than 2,000, according to Lebanese authorities.
friendly manner. I live at Balbak. The first day of the attack, I see too much bomb like this, boom, boom. My madam told me, Fatima, this is the way that happened right now in Lebanon. I don't understand. So now, how can you do? Do you want to go and find your sister? I said, madam, I don't know the whereabouts of my sister right now. He said, let me give you the phone number of your sister because I don't have phone. When I came, he took my phone in my hand. I don't have phone. When I came, he took my phone in my hand. 2 days, I slept at the street for 2 days. Now I have the fever because I'm sleeping in the street for 2 days. Yeah, because I don't have car, cold clothes. So now the fever is attacking me. But how can I go when I don't have nothing? This is the only reason he wants me to go back home. I said, Mama, I cannot go home when I don't have nothing.
Now my family, they don't know if I stay alive now for now because I don't have internet and I have my kids. Because the time I stay in the house, I have internet because every day I speak with my kids because just me, I take care of my kids. But now, from these days now, almost 2 weeks now, my kids don't know about me, my moms don't know about me, just me. So I don't even them. Madam kept my passport. I don't have it. My madam kept my passport.
So what will you do? Can you leave?
No, I don't know. I have no idea.
Shelters are full. The government is setting up in schools which aren't accepting any migrants or refugees to prioritize the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of Lebanese people. Unfortunately, it's every migrant and refugee ended up on the street displaced without anything because they lived in areas where they couldn't pack up even bare necessities. They only have the clothes they're wearing on them. 95% of them don't even have their passport. For the group who is under our care right now, we don't have a plan yet as to what's next. For now, for those who told us they want to travel, we've initiated the process. For those who want to stay, for now we have a shelter open for them, providing any needs they require, but we don't know what's next.
Meanwhile, French President Emmanuel Macron has said that the shipments of arms used in the conflict in Gaza should be stopped as part of a broader effort to find a political solution. France is not a major weapons provider for Israel, shipping military equipment worth 30 million euros last year, according to the Defense Ministry's annual arms reports. While reiterating his support for Israel's security and sympathy for hostages and their families, Macron said it was not consistent for parties to call for a ceasefire yet continue providing weapons of war. In closing remarks at the summit of French-speaking nations, where a unanimous statement of solidarity with Lebanon and a call for a halt to fighting was issued, Macron said the coming days are decisive in obtaining a ceasefire and continuing humanitarian work. He also announced that France will host an international conference this month to help drum up humanitarian aid for Lebanon and strengthen security in the southern part of the country. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu hit out at France's President Emmanuel Macron for saying that shipments of arms to Israel used in the conflict in Gaza should be stopped as part of a broader effort to find a political solution. Macron earlier said that the priority was to get back to a political solution and that arms used to fight in Gaza are halted. Macron's comments come as his Foreign Minister Jean-Noel Barrot is on a 4-day trip to the Middle East, wrapping up on Monday in Israel as Paris looks to play a role in reviving diplomatic efforts.
All civilized countries should be standing firmly by Israel's side. Yet President Macron and some other Western leaders are now calling for an arms embargo against Israel. Shame on them. Is Iran imposing an arms embargo on Hezbollah, on the Houthis, on Hamas, and on other proxies? Of course not. The axis of terror stands together. But countries who supposedly oppose the stair axis call for an arms embargo on Israel. What a disgrace. Well, let me tell you this. Israel will win with or without their support. But their shame will continue long after the war is won. For in defending ourselves against this barbarism, Israel is defending civilizations against those who seek to impose a dark age of fanaticism on all of us. Rest assured, Israel will fight until the battle is won. For our sake.
The Israeli military has announced changes to its defensive guidelines in several areas, including in some communities north of Tel Aviv, near the Gaza Strip, and parts of the occupied West Bank. The military in a statement said that the changes allow gatherings of up to 2,000 people, up from 1,000. Also, the activity scale would be changed to partial activity in several communities of central Galilee. Israel will retaliate against Iran for the missile attack launched by Tehran when the time is right. A military spokesman said, adding that 2 air bases struck in the attack remained fully operational and no aircraft were damaged. Be'eri, an agricultural Israeli kibbutz close to Gaza, was one of the first Israeli communities hit by Hamas on October 7, 2023, at the start of the deadliest Palestinian militant attack in Israel's history. The idyllic rows of large red-roofed houses were surrounded by quiet roads and expansive farmlands prior to the attack. The Gaza Strip, just 3 miles, 5 kilometers away, can be seen from kibbutz grounds. Gazan farm workers used to be employed there. But the largely quiet environment was changed forever when Hamas militants stormed the kibbutz, setting fire to houses and killing indiscriminately or abducting men, women, and children. In all, the tight-knit community of the kibbutz lost about a tenth of its roughly 1,000 residents. The militants took 10 hostages from Be'eri. The Israeli army said it killed up to 100 gunmen after arriving on the scene. It said thousands of Gaza militants participated in the assault at large. The damaged houses were left in ruins, and survivors were evacuated to a hotel near the Dead Sea before moving to temporary housing at Kibbutz Hazarim in the Negev desert, around 18 kilometers or 18 miles, 29 kilometers away from Be'eri. But the intention is to rebuild Be'eri and return. In July 2024, demolition work started on the remains of the destroyed buildings, with the former residents looking to raise money to supplement government funds to make Be'eri home again. Be'eri was established in 1946 with the aim of creating a collective, egalitarian farming community. Its main source of income these days is its print shop, and local farmers are working to revive what is left of their crops and agricultural produce. And over 80 police personnel we're headed for a short break. When we return, we'll continue the stories. Just stay with us. What's happening? What's happening?
You can't hear me.
End of what?
I said make it end the news.
I didn't hear. Nobody told me anything.
You didn't hear?
I didn't hear.
Well, you can hear her now.
Yes, I can hear now.
You just come back.
And that's the news. That's our many thanks for being part of it. Charles Pius is my name. Good morning. Alpha. Fine.
Good morning.
You better follow.
Morning. This lady is off.
You know the well,
Wahala.
big one. Thank you. Let's make it one. Jesus, I'm big.
The news is done, so the morning show is up. And these are the guys hosting the morning show for today. That's Joshua.
Hello.
And of course, that's a very, very fine looking woman. Look like she's going to church. And she is going to join you shortly in about 4 minutes. So stick around, guys. Stick around. Go on Signature Television on YouTube and catch up with them. They are amazing duo. Never seen anything like them before. Trust me, they are super, super fabulous. Morning to you. That's her. Say hi to my
How many
people.
people are watching this?
There are over 5,000 people
Wait,
watching
let me see them.
worldwide.
Let me see them.
Oh boy.